This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hello, Jason Glick. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, John. Yourself?
Not too bad.
Nice.
What do you have in store for us tonight?
Okay, well, I know last time I left off by saying I was probably going to do my thoughts on Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips' latest series, The Fade Out, and I might still do it at some point, but that's not going to be the case this week because in between last time we recorded and now, I realized that hey, a book I'd heard about last year finally came out, and this would be The Tipping Point. Published by Humanoids in the U.S. It is a collection of short works ranging from 3 to 10 pages, from a broad selection of European, American, and Japanese creators, all centered around the idea of what happens what is it like when an idea when you shift from one moment when um, when you're in one moment and then the next moment everything about yourself changes. So and it's got an insanely good collection of talent for this thing. I mean, it's like it's like the fact that it's humanoids kind of, and it's European. It's basically a European production. I mean, like these guys have got some deep connections here. I mean, aside from, you got even though I don't know, like, I'm not as familiar with some of the European guys like Emmanuel Lepage or Boulet or Frederick Peters. You put guys like John Cassaday, Eddie Campbell, Naoki Urasawa, Bob Fingerman, Paul Pope, like in this, and it's like, holy shit, how can I not get this? It's like and I figure like, hey, even if like the stuff from like the people I haven't heard of isn't as good. I mean, like the stuff from the A-listers should completely make up for this, right? Well, not quite. Anyway, it's an interesting collection that that's probably more of interest to connoisseurs of fine art than actual quality storytelling. But let's start from the beginning with the first. I'm going to just run down all the creators in here in the order they were published in the collection. Starts off with Taiyo Matsumoto with Hanako's Fart, which basically starts off with a Japanese schoolgirl who farts. Nobody realizes it. But then it shows you all the other stuff that's happening at this time. It's like how a guy's dying in a faraway land, like a major baseball player hits the last home run of his professional career. How a boy's sister breaks his favorite toy, that kind of thing. It's one of those hey, it's like, even though it's like we're all in this together. It's like type stories, and it's like I've never really been like a huge promoter of Matsumoto. I mean, he's definitely got like a distinctive style, and can really do, and has a great way with storytelling. But he's never written anything that I've truly felt passionate about, and that continues here. I mean, some people really absolutely swear by his work. I'm not one of those. I mean, and Hanako's Fart, like I said, it's a nice, hey, suggestion of like, hey, we were all in this together, but not something that I really that really moved me all that much. More interesting was the following story from Emmanuel Lepage. Basically, it's could be semi-autobiographical. It could just be like him talking about a kid who was sent out to summer camp by his parents and wound up having a kind of sexual awakening when he was pinned down by another boy. So it's an interesting kind of weird story. It's like if adolescent sexuality kind of makes your skin crawl, then you're probably going to hate this story. But at the same time, it's like it does kind of succeed at what he's doing, in the sense that this encounter that the boy feels does kind of change his mind and open it up to a much broader world. It's like whether it's just in terms of sexuality, or of the picture of the photography stuff that he winds up getting some acclaim for in the course of the story. Well, it's up to you to decide. Following that up is I think it's a short by Atsushi Kaneko called Screwed. Now, what a little I can find out about Kaneko is that he seems to be more beloved by the European comic scene than for his manga output. But that being said, he turns out the best short for the of all the Japanese creators here. Following a small time crook who's basically on the run from some from some very bad men after he screws up a hit. And he's just thinking about where, like, how far back, when was I screwed, man? Like, was it when was it when I failed to park my bike in the right place and people stole my tires? Should I have taken better care of my gun so it didn't misfire with a crucial joint? Should I have played less video games when I was growing up? Or should my mom have actually, known who my dad was? And then as the story takes on an even larger, a broader prospect, was humanity screwed when the first ape committed murder? It's an interesting, it's interesting, fast paced, and actually kind of fun short that has a lot of energy. It's like, and does get across its point. It's like in the small amount of pages that are allotted to it. Now moving on to the first American creator featured here, we get John Cassaday, who gives us a short adaptation of a scene from Huckleberry Finn, when Huck is trying to determine whether or not to turn in his friend Jim. It's uniquely for Cassaday's work. This is all in monochrome. So and as I said before, he's one of the few creators out there who can actually make detailed photorealism work in his favor, and he actually pulls that off here. I mean, no, it's not not an original story, but it still captures the mood, captures the Huck's feelings and the mood of the scene. Quite well. It's like, and also also one of the few. It also gets the point of the anthology down pretty well too. He's followed up by Eddie Campbell, who has a kind of like a stream of consciousness short about him moving to a new place and his cat escaping and him just kind of wandering the alleyways at night trying to find the cat and just kind of acclimating to his new home and all. It's like, and it's okay. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it's just him looking for his cat, trying to get then just coming to a realization about things. It's not all that special, and it's like, I could take or leave it, really. Following that though is a short from Naoki Urasawa. Now, given that this is the guy who gave us Monster and 20th Century Boys, and also did a decent enough reimagining of Astro Boy and Pluto, I was hoping that this would be I mean, this is one of those things. I figured out as soon as I saw his name in among the creators here, I thought, okay, I have to get this because it's a short from Naoki Urasawa. How often do you see something like that come around? Well, this is one of the few times where his strong storytelling instincts kind of let him down. Really, I mean, it starts off as a alien domestic dispute about this alien couple, about how the dad is the husband is telling his wife about how he's accepted this really deadly mission to to the death hell planet of evil. It's the third planet in a certain star system, and if that doesn't clue you in on where this story is going, then I advise you to just start reading more comics or read more fiction in general. It's basically like a standard domestic dispute reframed as in a cosmic setting, and it's just like the whole standard it's like it's like the husband has trying to do the best for best for his family. It's like the wife is trying to understand why he's doing some understand why he's doing something so crazy, and the end is kind of like a weird mix of Sentai, Ultraman Sentai type stuff and the Twilight Zone, but it doesn't really pull it off because, like I said, you'll probably be able to see where the story is going long before Urasawa gets there, and that's even though the story is only 8 pages long. Probably the most disappointing of the bunch, really. It's like I was expecting more from him. But hey, at the very least, he's followed up by the best story in the volume. That would be The Unbeliever by Bob Fingerman. Now, it starts off on the first page about how these friends at a diner just arguing about nature of religion, and how how being an atheist is just as dogmatic and unprovable as being a religious person. Then on the next page, the atheist finds himself in hell in a DMV type situation, and as he's called to go through the tortures, he just says, "Oh nope, not believing this at all," and you get then we're treated to some of like Fingerman's great irreverent profane sense of humor. It's like as he's led through hell by a demon who's just like at his wit's end trying to get this asshole to go along with the program, and also Fingerman just kind of like also doing some pretty clever humor as his buddies. As Demon says, yeah, it's like like some of my friends are named after like the drugs that people who roof each other with. It's like, and the guy says, oh yeah, so you're saying Big Pharma is a demon as well? That's kind of clever. I'm not buying it. So it's just so it's just kind of so it's cruising along with that kind of silly for a couple pages, and then he gets to heaven, meets Saint Peter, finds out about the blowjob clouds, and everything looks great until we get the final twist at the end, which is great fun. It's like a great and also a great great reverent middle finger to the whole story. Like truly a ton of fun and the best. It's like the best this volume has to offer. It's also followed up by one of the better stories in this volume. I Want to Believe by Boulay, which basically has a guy who starts off. The first panel is one of those like it has him get involved in one of those. Oh, I saw it on the internet. I read it on the internet, so it's true. So kind of arguments. And while the protagonist basically goes, yeah, it's like, hey, you know what? Imagine what it'd be like if everything that you read on the internet was true. To which he then winds up getting involved with some lizard men disguised as humans, the crocodiles roaming the sewers, the white lady who shows up every time a crash appears. It's like Bigfoot and Atlantis, and also a certain Nigerian it's like prince who is offering him like $90 billion to if he provides his banking information. The story has only one joke, and it's a good one though. It's like and it's it makes it good fun throughout. Next up is another story from another creator that I was really looking forward to. That would be Consort to the Destroyer by Paul Pope. Now, it's eight page or 10 pages, and basically starts off with a the aftermath of a pirate battle at sea, and a woman chained to a man in a boat that's slowly sinking. And it continues by she kills the man. It's like jumps off the boat, then kills the shark that comes after her, and then swims to sea. Night falls. The end. This isn't. It's not a short story, really. It's a fragment. It's basically like you get the feeling that Pope was contacted by the people who made this, who are putting together this collection. They said, "Oh, I got this great idea. Let me put it together for you." It's like he just starts working on like a nice American-sized length story of 22 pages, and when he gets the call from the guy saying checking up on his progress, he's like, "Oh, it's great, man! I got the first 8 pages all done." It's like, "Oh, if I got the first 10 pages all done." It's like, "Oh," they're like, "Oh, that's great! Like, so you're done, man." It's like we don't have any more room for you, and he's like, "Oh, well, okay, here you go, take it, publish it." So yeah, it's good for what it is, but it's not a complete story by any means. The same could kind of be said of the story that follows, Bastien Vives, The Child, which has a nice science fiction premise of a couple of explorers on an alien planet trying to rescue a child, and getting a lot more than they bargained for. It's told in it's shown in some eerie in an eerie black and white style, and it's like and it's good for what it is. I mean, it's like I would have liked to have seen more, but and I will. It at least ends on a bit more on less of a less of an incomplete note than we got with Paul Pope's story, but it still doesn't feel complete, and you're just kind of wondering, well, what happens next? But kind of weapons like today, hey, I kind of want to read more about this, so that's not bad. Next up is Keiichi Koike's Fish. It features some truly stunning art, as a man catches a fish and then it just its brain juices and goes for a trip to eventually realize that we're not actually reading about a man, we're reading about an alien on another planet who realizes that fishing is bad. So it's it's a really crazy narrative. Said like that. The art though is astonishing. It's like in the it's like in the kind of detail that Koike invests in the story. He's got a style. He's got a more grounded, realistic style, kind of like Katsuhiro Otomo. But seeing it all in full color and the level of detail he invests in it, it's truly impressive. So I'll admit this just gets by on style by itself. Then you have the shortest story of this volume, Leica by Frederick Peters. Now, even though it's only 3 pages, it does set up a compelling premise. Probably, and in the sense that hey, it's kind of like the Manhattan Projects crossed with Akira, in the sense that it's about the Russian cosmonaut dog, only she didn't die. It's like up in orbit, she's back and she's mad as hell. So reading this, I was kind of thought about, hey, it's like this is I guess Jonathan Hickman could have gone in a different direction with how he used Leica in the Manhattan Projects compared to this, because while he had her turned into a furry, it's like in Manhattan Projects this time, well, she's kind of more like Tetsuo from Akira. So yeah, it's it's like yeah, it's basically a setup for a much larger story, but out of all the incomplete stories here, this is probably the one I'd probably like to see them. I like to see continued more than the others. Okay, last but not least is Tengu by Katsuya Terada. Um, Now it's not Terada in his full color painted glory, like say like in the Monkey King. It's basically about a Tengu just flying around. And at first I thought, this may be the first Katsuya Terada story where I read that doesn't have some naked boobies in it. I was wrong. In fact, it's also got some guy schlong as well, but it's just seems to be about his just a guy just trying to just finding the crazy desire to create. It's like after all, it's the art is nice, but the story is really like barely there, if that. And that's the tipping point. You know, for the level of talent here, it's like I gotta admit, it's like was kind of expecting something better. I was kind of expecting like home run after home run after home run for this, but just kind of goes to show that like short stories, like I guess when you haven't been drilled into the format by Tharg the Merciless in over with his Future Shocks in 2000 AD, it's kind of like it's really tricky to kind of put something like this together. So I mean, it's like if you like good art, then obviously this is worth picking up. Good storytelling, well, it might be a bit too much to ask for its $30 cover price. Um, Basically, it's like it's not bad for what it is, but it's like in the end, it's like it's really no more or less consistent than your average anthology. So yeah, like big expectations weren't quite met here. Okay, John, any thoughts on your end about all this?
Not this time, Jason.
Fair enough.
So do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Well, what I'm talking about next time actually arrived today, and I was kind of surprised that it did because of how Amazon is with Marvel stuff. But hey, Amazon,
Were they extra slow? What?
yeah, like whenever Amazon usually takes a couple of extra weeks to deliver Marvel stuff for whatever reason,
Weird.
unless it's something special like the Miracle Man volumes or the subject of next week's podcast, Secret Wars.
Ah, okay. Interesting. So that's what you'll be talking about?
Oh yeah, very much looking
Awesome.
forward to. In fact, I might have to resist the urge to just crack it open right now and read through it as soon as we're done talking here.
Gotcha. Gotcha. All right. Well, hey, we'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
All right, later's.
Bye.